No, I didn't get any message from him.
You're good.
He's still got a minute.
That's wait a minute. Okay.
Justin says you're live.
What?
Justin says you're live. Whenever you're ready.
Emily is now on time, and she is on it. All right.
Okay, are we doing it?
Yep, we're ready.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Abington Heights School Board meeting for Wednesday, October 22nd. Would everyone please rise and pledge the flag? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. O'Day, may we please have a roll call?
Here.
Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Here. May I please have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting?
So moved.
Second.
On the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Abdallah,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes. Yes.
Mrs. Henderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Karam,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
7-0.
May I please have a motion to approve the minutes from the board meetings of September 17th and October 8th?
So moved.
Second.
On the motion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Karam,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Abdallah,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
7-0.
Okay. Next, we have our student representatives, and we understand we have a new student rep tonight. Welcome, Anna.
Good evening, everybody. So tonight we have our junior board rep, Anna Flynn, with us. She's absolutely wonderful, and personally, I'm very excited that she's here tonight. So tonight, for our athletic notes, girls tennis. Our girls tennis team, the District 2 Class 3A Championships, hosted Wilson High School, the District 3 runner-up, yesterday in the first round of the PIAA 3A Girls Tennis Team Championships. Unfortunately, the team season came to a close as the girls fell to the Bulldogs 3-0. The Comets finished with an outstanding 7-2 record on the year. On Friday, October 31st, and Saturday, November 1st, our singles champion, Sona Hanamali, and district doubles champions, Sammy Rosenstein and Amishi Amit, will travel to Hershey, PA for their PIAA championships rounds. Good luck to our athletes. For field hockey, our number 6 seeded field hockey team earned an impressive 2-1 quarterfinal win on the road at number 3 Wallenpaupack in the PIAA District 2 Class AA playoffs. The Comets now travel to number 2 Dallas for the semifinal round tonight at 6:30 p.m. This group has shown tremendous growth since the season opener and continues to represent Abington Heights with determination and pride. Abington Heights will advance to the district finals, and they will automatically qualify for the state playoffs if they win tonight. For football, on Thursday, October 16th, the Comets defeated the Scranton Knights 49-13 at home in the 2025 homecoming game. Senior wide receiver Gavin Anders made history that night with 3 receptions for 60 yards. He became the school's all-time leader in career receiving yards, currently 10th all-time in the LIAA. He also holds the school record for career receptions, ranking 7th all-time in the LIAA. This Friday, October 24th, the Comets travel to Harmon Geest Memorial Stadium to face Hazleton area at 7 p.m. in a non-league matchup. Your Comets are currently ranked number 2 in District 2 Class 5A. For cross country, our boys and girls, both teams competed in the PIAA District 2 Class 3A Championships today, Wednesday, October 22nd, at the Wyoming County Fairgrounds. Our boys team entered with an 18-4 record and finished as district runner-ups. Jack Shoemaker placed 5th overall and qualified for the PIAA State Championships on Saturday, November 1st. Joining him in Hershey will be our undefeated girls team, who entered districts with a 22-0 record and captured another impressive performance today. Anna Puchalowski, who recently committed to James Madison University, finished 1st overall. Also qualifying for states are Marley Gilboy, Callie Gilboy, Morgan Kresge, Julia Healy, Kennedy Lotz, and Layla Carabello. Congratulations to all of our runners on an outstanding season. For girls volleyball, the Lady Comets finished the regular season Monday night at Dunmore with another 3-0 sweep, securing their first Lackawanna League title since 2002. This also marks the first undefeated regular season in program history. Senior Madison Smith achieved 1,000 career digs, a program first, on senior night last Wednesday. Several Comets surpassed 100 kills this season: Elena Krempaski, Kiki Beck, Abby McDonald, and Hildy Tembledore. Junior Brielle Wentz had 853 career assists and is on pace to reach 1,000 next season, another potential first for the program. She's also fewer than 10 aces away from recording her second straight 100-ace season. The Lady Comets are ready for the District 2 AAA playoffs, where they'll look to capture their first district title since 2009. For girls soccer, the Lady Comets finished the regular season with an impressive 5-1 win over Mid-Valley, clinching their 3rd straight Lackawanna Conference championship. District playoffs begin Saturday, October 25th at home against Wallenpaupack. They are currently ranked number 1 in the Lackawanna Conference and number 2 in the District 2 Class AAA. For girls golf, the Lady Comets competed in undefeated regular season and repeated as District 2 champions. Brianna Moffitt qualified to compete in the PIAA Individual State Tournament this past Monday and Tuesday. She was joined by her teammates Liz George, Kate Peters, Grace Bennett, Margot Grad, and representing AH at the PIAA Team State Championships at Penn State earlier today. This marks the first girls golf team in history to represent Abington Heights at the PIAA State Championships. For boys golf, the Comets captured their 3rd straight Lackawanna League championship, defeating Delaware Valley 315-357, led by medalist Connor Malley Kelowski. They went to win back-to-back district championships, defeating Pittston area 315-332, with standout rounds from Ryan Boyd, Philip Matthews, Will Harold, and Sebastian Mayer. Seamus Kelly and Ryan Boyd qualified for the PIAA Individual State Championships held Monday and Tuesday at Penn State. Earlier today, the boys competed in the PIAA Championship Tournament, marking the 4th time in history and 3rd in the last 5 seasons that our boys golf team has qualified for states. For boys soccer, with a win last Wednesday at Honesdale, Comets clinched their 4th straight Lackawanna League Division I championship. Junior Joey Pivorato reached a major milestone earlier this season, scoring his 50th career goal against Scranton High School. The Comets are currently ranked number 1 in District 2 Class AAA and will host Honesdale on Friday night at 7 p.m. in the district quarterfinals on the new multipurpose field. A couple of winter sports reminders. Visit registration guidelines for in full details. We have free physical on-site physicals on Monday, November 3rd. These are appointment only, and students can register online. The first practice trial date is Friday, November 4th. All PIAA winter sports begin: boys and girls basketball, wrestling, swimming and diving, and indoor track. To be cleared for tryouts, all athletic forms must be submitted on planeths.com, Student Central, by Monday, November 11th. For our returning athletes, if you already participated in a fall sport, they do not need to new physical. Just complete Section 7 on Planet HS. We have a college recruitment education seminar coming up this Thursday on October 23rd at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium. Families and student athletes in grades 9 through 12 are invited to attend our college recruitment education seminar. The topics will include understanding college recruitment timelines and eligibility, communicating with college coaches and programs, academic and NCAA requirements for all levels, and building a recruitment plan throughout high school. We encourage all students and parents to attend together. Whether you're new to the process or already being recruited, this session provides valuable and practical guidance. It's been a very exciting and successful fall season for our Abington Heights athletics. Our student athletes continue to embody sportsmanship, teamwork, and academic excellence, making our district both proud on and off the field. Thank you for your continued support for all of our athletic programs. Go Comets!
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gianna, you received a new title.
Oh, yes, I did.
What, can you share with the board?
Yes, so this past Thursday, I was on the homecoming court at the homecoming game, and I won Homecoming Queen.
Oh,
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Good night for the swimmers.
So our homecoming week was a huge success. Student council organized a spirited lineup of theme days, and school spirit ran high as grades competed for points leading up to Friday's ultimate competition. The bonfire returned for a second year in a row, made possible through the generous pallet donation of approximately 650 pallets from Dave Weber and Stone Furniture. Special thanks to the maintenance staff for their help with setup and cleanup of the event. The annual Fun Friday featured competitions between grade level teams as they battled for the coveted Golden Tube. As part of the festivities, Student Council hosted a pumpkin painting activity using 50 pumpkins purchased from a sale across from the Abington Community Library for $1 each. Proceeds from the sale supported the Appalachian Service Project, a volunteer organization that helps make homes warmer, safer, and drier for families in need. It was meaningful for Student Council to contribute to another organization dedicated to positive community impact. The week concluded with a lively pep rally celebrating all fall sports teams and inviting everyone to support the girls' soccer game that evening. The event included class chants, games, and even student-led roller coasters, all culminating in the senior class winning the Golden Tube. On Saturday morning, 192 sophomores and juniors took the PSAT, and that evening, approximately 750 students attended the homecoming dance at the high school. The next dance, the winter semi-formal, will be held in January. Dr. Tioni has shared additional information and calendar updates with families, and we look forward to finishing the quarter strong. Thank you.
thank you very much, and welcome. Okay, our next item of business would be the superintendent's report, but before we start that, I would like to just remind everyone that if you wish to make public comment to the board, please fill out a card. You can get them from Mrs. O'Day before you come up. With that, Dr.
You want to do public comment first?
Well, I just thought we had some new faces in the crowd, maybe give them a chance to fill out a card.
Oh, okay. What's that? Yeah, just a couple remarks. All right. I'll just make a few remarks in my report, and this has to do with an action item that we have on the agenda tonight relative to South Abington Elementary and our long-term facility improvement plan. We've spoken over the last 4 years about our facility improvement focus, knowing that this is going to be going on for some time and that we would aggressively go after grants, both competitive and non-competitive. And over the past 4 years, we have received close to $5.5 million in grants. We have pursued a lot of safety grants. We've done a lot of enhancements inside and outside of our buildings. A lot of those enhancements we've talked about. Certainly, we've talked about the middle school and the $15 million project there. But on tonight's board agenda, you will see a project that is a little over $1 million, and that's for air handling units, and that will be almost fully funded by grants. We received a little over $1.1 million in grants. We believe that this project is going to be 1.03 million with a match, and that if the board so chose, we wouldn't even, I mean, it's in general fund, so we'd use our money, but we received $775,000 in grant, and a grant for school improvement, but also a discretionary grant of $275,000. So that $275,000 could in fact be part of the match there. And this is for air handling units. This is something that we really don't focus on much when we talk about facility improvements. However, the air we breathe, specifically clean air, is very important. So these air handling units, just so you know, on top of the South Abington gymnasium, not only take in air from the outside, but it also recirculates some air internally, puts it through a filter, and we put some heat to that and pump that out. And as you are probably aware, during COVID, we really spent a lot of time talking about air handling units and what we are looking for inside of our classroom. So while it is very important to have some really nice, clean, modern, safe spaces, we know that we can start to make some dents in some of the mechanical and electrical upgrades that we need to do in our schools by pursuing a lot of these grants like we have. So we are going to be $200,000, $500,000, $700,000, just chipping away at some of these things. So I just want to say thank you to the board, because we have a lot of parallel plans when we talk about facility improvements. Later on in January, we're going to be meeting with and presenting at a board meeting with our construction management company, where we'll be talking about the progress we're making at the middle school, but we'll also be talking about what our plans for that are upcoming. Taking a look at some of the smaller projects we've done. We have, close to 50 small projects that the board has been working on. A lot of those too are grant funded. However, we're going to get to a point here where we're going to have to start prioritizing some of these smaller projects. And while that is fun, it sometimes means some trade-offs, because we have a lot of projects on the list that have to do with safety and a really small pocket of money. And as that is happening, we'll be watching our state legislators and hoping that they find some common sense and get a budget passed. Most adults in the room, all adults in this room, understand that there are obligations that we have as a group of elected officials, and this board did their job and passed the budget prior to July 1, a balanced budget. And in turn, all we ask for is telling us what our budget is. And here we are, and we're going to be close to 30% of the way through the year in the coming weeks, still without a budget. And just because we are not in a desperate situation like many school districts, that doesn't mean it's a good situation. I was asked by a legislator a couple days ago, what is the impact? And a lot of people talk about TAN loans, short-term loans, where they're paying a high amount of interest on a loan. And I feel for those districts, and we have lost the opportunity to make money on our money and gain interest. Instead of gaining interest, we're putting money out the door on things that we shouldn't have at this point. And we've done a great job, the board, at investing our funds over the last 4 years, probably to the tune of $2 to $3 million. And you know, I'm going to be very transparent. Some of that has to do with an inverse yield curve, and we got a couple tailwinds. However, that's really important to be able to invest short term like we do as a district. So I just wanted to say that out loud and publicly, and every opportunity that we can. I know our local legislators are there advocating for us, but it's getting louder and louder out there, and for good reason. So.
Okay, this would be the part for public comment. We ask when you come up, you state who you are and where you live, and keep your comments to more or less 3 minutes. We have 3 speakers. The first is Ryan Griffiths.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay? My name is Ryan Griffiths. I'm a resident of South Abington Township. I'm a parent of 3 children, one of whom is a first grader at Clark Summit Elementary. I've been a public educator for the past 16 years, and I'm also a member of the Abington Youth Soccer Board of Directors. And I say those things to qualify my comments that I'm about to share. My topic tonight that I wanted to speak to is a full-day kindergarten program. While I appreciate that the board is dedicated to our district and its commitment to critical facility needs, deferring the implementation of a full-day kindergarten program is a short-sighted approach that fails to recognize its potential as both a necessary educational investment and a long-term facility planning imperative. Any significant facility upgrade or construction project should be considered future-proof. If full-day kindergarten is, as the board has suggested, and I'm sure is committed to, an eventual goal, then addressing the necessary classroom additions or modifications now, during these already planned facility overhauls, will be less expensive than initiating a second separate construction phase later. Moreover, a facility assessment should factor in increased student seat time and capacity requirements of a full-day program, making necessary spatial planning and construction a core part of immediate planning, not an afterthought. The board, I'm sure, correctly notes the academic benefits of a full-day program and its support by research, and I don't need to go into that. I think we're all very much informed about that. However, these benefits do not level out over time in a high-performing district as ours. To suggest so would be a dangerously complacent stance that misunderstands the purpose of early childhood education. While the district's overall performance is high, the initial advantage gained in a full-day program is often crucial for socioeconomically disadvantaged students or English language learners. These early gains are vital for establishing a strong foundation, mitigating the risk of future achievement gaps, and ensuring equitable access to the district's high-quality programming. Even if gains level out, it is very short-sighted to suggest that high-performing schools such as ours should maintain the status quo, but we should be maximizing every student's potential. A strong start is the best way to ensure a district remains high-performing for all students into the future. While facilities maintenance is crucial, it should not serve as an excuse to delay a program that offers clear academic, economic, and equity benefits. A full-day kindergarten program is not a future luxury. It is a present necessity whose facility requirements should be integrated into the current building plan. The board can demonstrate the commitment to offering the best possible educational opportunity by making this essential program a core component of its immediate financial and planning priorities. I think that's my time. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ryan, thank you very much. Next would be Catherine Garrity.
Hello, I'm Catherine Garrity. I go by Katie. I live in Clark Summit. I'm over on Lansdowne Avenue. I have 4 kids. I have 2 at CSE right now. I'm here also to talk about full day kindergarten. So my 2 at CSE are in 2nd and 4th grade now. I've seen them go from kindergarten to 1st grade. I've seen them struggle. My daughter, the first half of 1st grade. My son, probably like the first 2-3 months of adjusting to the full day. Even though we have them in a supplemental kindergarten program during the day, but that fragmented kindergarten day does not equal out to the full day of kindergarten. They love their school. I love their school. We moved here for the schools, and my husband and I are both fully in favor of the full day kindergarten. My sister teaches in Scranton. She sees the benefits of full day kindergarten there every day, and I would love to have the same benefit here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Caitlin Kime.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. My name is Caitlin Kime, and I also live in Clark Summit. I'm a parent of 2 young children, and I've been an educator for the past 12 years. When we moved back to this area, we were thrilled to have found a home in a district with such a wonderful reputation. And I'm also here tonight to ask the district to seriously consider moving to a full-day kindergarten model. Abington Heights is known for excellence, but right now our kindergarten program is not meeting that standard. The current half-day schedule is less than 3 hours long, shorter than most preschool programs. For a district of our caliber, that's simply out of step with what our students and families need. Today's parents of young children are overwhelmingly from a generation with the highest rate of dual working households in history. While the half-day model may have been acceptable in the district in the past, it no longer fits the realities of modern family life or the developmental needs of children preparing for today's classrooms. Families are juggling care gaps and transportation challenges that could be alleviated by a full-day option. It's also worth noting that our district tends to enroll kindergartners at a later age, and this model of redshirting does follow the research of what's best for our children. However, that means many of our children are nearly 7 years old before experiencing a full day of learning. We are delaying critical social, emotional, and academic development at the very time when their capacity to grow is at its greatest. I also understand that budgets are always part of this discussion, and I'd like to reframe this discussion from we can't afford it to what do we choose to afford. The truth is we can always find money for the things that we decide are important, and our budget is a reflection of our values. If we value early childhood education, if we value equity and opportunity, then we need to invest in expanding our half-day program. Our neighboring districts have figured it out, and I hope our community can find a way to support this critical issue that would bring us up to speed with our peers throughout Lackawanna County. I urge the board to make full-day kindergarten a genuine priority as a goal that reflects the values of our district and the needs of our families. Thanks for your time and your continued commitment to doing what's best for our children.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we'll move into our action and discussion items. First is a treasurer's report.
Do we have the board report? No, I don't think we do. but-
Do we have any board reports? I apologize.
No, it's okay.
I do not have a board report, but can I make a comment on this?
Sure.
I think for the last 3 meetings, we've heard quite a bit of conversation from our community on the opportunity for us to explore an all-day kindergarten program. I have been advocating for this for a long time. I am a person of priorities. I am all in favor of all of the facilities and all of the things that we're doing that are important to our district. But the most important thing in our district is the academics. And this has been an issue with Abington Heights for quite some time. I would really like for us to explore this, to look at in a way that we could possibly look in the future, within the next year or two, to implement a full-day kindergarten program at Abington Heights. I don't know what that means, but if we don't start now, we will not get this done. And this is one of the top priorities that should be done before anything else. We've added a $5 million gym to our middle school project. We had put that as an addendum. Maybe that's something that we continue to look at, to explore, to not do that at this time, but to put an investment into an all-day program for kindergartners. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other board reports?
Look, let me piggyback a little bit on what Mickey said, and I'll reiterate a little bit what I said last week. We are and have been exploring this option. And I understand that, by me up here saying that we're exploring it, I mean, I would roll my eyes at me, but we will talk more about this in the spring as I talk to the board about trade-offs. This is a complicated financial decision, and I'm putting on the side the academics. And while I'm knee-deep in the research, and with this, and I can provide all sorts of information about the efficacy of full-day kindergarten, whether you're looking in urban areas, urban fringe areas, suburban areas, or rural areas, specifically within Pennsylvania, and do the correlations and where the kids seem to fall out. Ultimately, what I would tell you is that the same thing that bothers me personally with some charter schools is one of the things that I see full-day K as a little bit of a panacea, and that's, as a former school counselor, I worry about the social emotional well-being, and that's my word that I've been using since the 1980s, not one that perhaps took on a different meaning. And that's really important that we teach these skills. And at the same time, the board has a fiscal responsibility here. So when I say we're exploring this, make no doubt about it, we need 7 new teachers, and that's with me force transferring approximately 4. That's not a fun thing to do. 6 new teachers is going to be in the ballpark of $750,000, going up and up and up in each year. And Mickey, while I hear you about the gym, and I won't even argue about the efficacy of that gym, let's just say I said, you're right, Mickey, that $5 million is going to run out in 3 years. The challenge here is that every time we're looking at a program, we're looking at, do we have a recurring revenue stream? Compounding that is that during COVID, the years leading up to it, we had cut our staff by such a high amount that we had to use all our COVID money to hire 12 to 14 teachers. We did everything that we can through attrition to bring that number down to 6, but we had to absorb those 6, which was another $650,000 there. On top of it, when we talked about the facility planning, and this board did, talk about full day K, and that is also mentioned in the report as well, that we would have to be adding in all of our buildings. And in 2020, it was $243 a square foot. Now we're to build new, and now we're looking at around 500. So those are challenges. I'm not saying that they're insurmountable, and I haven't talked about them, but you owe it to hear it from me about some of these things that we're looking at. And if the board said to me tonight, do it, I would tell them that, okay, we'll start planning now, and it will be for the 27-28 school year. Okay? Because we need quite a long runway for this, and it's actually a pretty short runway, because what I would never do is tell the 7 kindergarten teachers that we have now that have been teaching half day that, you know, they need to figure it out on a short timeline. I want to make sure that our teachers are prepared from going from a half-day program to a full-day program. What does that mean to them? What does it mean about their pacing? What does it mean about the instruction? What does that mean relative to the resources that we provide our students? So those are the things that we're certainly looking at, as well as when I say to explore, that means I also have to talk with some community members. I mean, I was like tarred and feathered when I talked about a little bit of like childcare in some of our elementary schools, and that's after talking with some people. So that we do have plenty of small business owners in the community that have provided supplemental instructional support, and one could argue that supplanting it in some cases, and that would have an impact on them, and we owe it to them as members of our community to talk about that, and if that did happen, how do we help prepare them for that? Because very much like us, they have a budget, they have staff, and it's just the right thing to do to have discussions with them to help them plan it. So I wanted to give you some of that information to let you know that this is something that we are exploring, and that it was absolutely had everything to do with, as we talked about the facilities, and we had to prioritize. Sure.
So a lot of us ran for the board around the same time, and one of the things, I have 4 kids, I know the value of full day kindergarten. I completely related to your comment about how when they're in a half day program, they come home and they're like wired, and it's hard to transition them. So I agree with the sentiment, and I want to be forward looking. When we arrived here, we had a lot of work to do. We had opportunities to implement full day kindergarten 10 years ago, 20 years ago. There were opportunities for funding. There were opportunities for capacity. We missed those opportunities. When we came to many of this cohort came onto the board, we initiated a facilities study. If you haven't looked at it, I highly recommend you look at it. As a parent, and I assume since you all are involved that a lot of you have volunteered in your schools, our middle school is basically at capacity and is not serving that population. And we have a lot of concerns with that building, and that is why we chose to prioritize it. There are several meetings from the spring of 23. Does that sound right? Winter, maybe? Where we talked about this, because I'm just as passionate as you all. I see us moving forward in this direction. I do. I think a lot of us here are committed to that. And I will say some of the things, because I'm a big believer in showing up, and I'm a big believer in what's possible and what you can do in the near term, right? The impact on our budget will be significant, as Dr. Schaefer said. What we can do is we can advocate to our state legislatures to put this in their budgets. We can advocate for cyber charter reform, which frees up a significant amount of income for us, your tax dollars, actually. So in the meantime, I continue to advocate, please, but those are some positive things we can do as a team to make this happen. And I don't for a second doubt that this was one of my goals on the board, and it might not happen tomorrow. It's hard to do everything at once, but it is something that is still on our radar. So I appreciate you coming out, and I just wanted to give you some of that, some of my perspective, because I feel personally accountable for it to you, and I appreciate that you shared your thoughts. So thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Mrs. Henderson.
Hi. I just wanted to clarify what Dr. Schaefer said. And I will say, as a parent, and I was also a school counselor and a teacher, so I see the value of a full-day kindergarten program. But just to clarify, Dr. Schaefer said each of the buildings would require an addition, you know, and I just want to highlight, you know, there's not enough physical space. We're out of classrooms, you know, and several people said that, well, why don't you make the administration building a kindergarten center? But you know, we can dig back into the archives and see, like, there's a very good reason why this building is no longer a school, right? Like, for those of you with young kids, we would have to outfit the building, ADA compatibility. We would need, where would we put the playground? Out on the pit? I don't know, lots to figure out there. But classrooms with little people like that, we would need bathrooms in every single classroom. So when you're looking at if we could even outfit this building to be a kindergarten center, I don't even know if that would be, you know, feasible. So I just wanted to make sure that, you know, to Dr. Schaefer's point, like, the buildings are at capacity. So if it were just a matter of finding the money for the teachers, that's just half the problem. It is, you know, we'd have to look into putting additions onto the elementary schools, whether it, I don't know, trailers or physical structures. So there is a lot to consider. So I don't want you to think that when you come here, your comments are falling on deaf ears and we're just kind of smiling and nodding. Like, it is a conversation that we've had many passionate debates and conversations around, but it is very complicated. Like Mrs. Karam said, you know, there wasn't a long-term financial plan to pay for the staffing and for the physical space. So we are working on it. I know, I get it. So thank you all for coming out, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay, Mrs. Karam, the floor is yours.
This is the treasurer's report. We began the month with a cash balance of $12,718,004.42. We took in monthly revenues of $15,875,577.89. Our net disbursements were $4,015,927.26 for a cash balance available of $24,577,655.05.
Thank you very much. Any questions on the treasurer's report? Can I have a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Second.
On the motion, roll call, please.
Mrs. Henderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Karam,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Abdullah,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Mr. Acker.
Yes.
7-0.
Mr. Acker, I'd ask the board to consider a motion to approve the personnel report as presented.
So moved.
Second.
On the motion,
I just want to make one comment. It warms my heart for two reasons.
I know one of them. I didn't say.
The first is to see the name Kevin Manning on the list of coaches. Kevin's been a dear friend of mine since I moved back home 15 years ago. I've coached with him, and I'm good friends with him. He's an excellent coach. He's an excellent human being, and we're lucky to have him start coaching for us. And second, he just so happens to be coaching girls wrestling, which we've all talked about adding to the agenda. So I think it's just fantastic that we're adding that activity for our student athletes.
Thank you.
very good. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Karam,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Abdullah,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
7-0.
Mr. Acker, I'd ask the board consider a motion to approve the October 2025 volunteer list.
So moved.
Second.
On the motion, roll call, please.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Abdullah,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Karam,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
7-0.
Mr. Acker, I'd ask the board consider a motion to approve the October tuition reimbursement report.
So moved.
Second.
On the motion, roll call, please.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Abdullah,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Karam,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
7-0.
Mr. Acker, I'd ask the board consider a motion to approve the KCBA proposal for mechanical upgrades at South Abington. Project budget is $1.1 million, and as I mentioned earlier, this could seemingly be done with all grant funds if the board wished. But at minimum, $775,000 from a grant that we received last year.
So moved.
Second.
On the motion?
I have a comment. I just want to commend the district for every dime that we get from grant writing, and I know it's not easy. Every dime that we get is a dime that we don't have to spend more from our tax dollars. So I commend the district for getting this grant and continuing to do the hard work in grant writing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abdullah,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson, Mrs. Karam,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
7-0.
Okay, I'd like to consider a motion to reappoint Christopher L. Schaefer, Doctor of Education, as Abington Heights School District Superintendent for a term of 5 years beginning July 1st, 2026 and ending on June 30th, 2031.
So moved.
Second.
On the motion. Roll call.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Karam,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Abdullah,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
7-0.
So Dr. Schaefer, I don't see much white hair there right now, but I expect in 5 years.
Yeah,
that
that's what my
either there
kids
won't
point
be
it out
any
all the
or it's all
time.
going to be white, one or the other. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am.
Okay. Is there any new information for the board? Is there unfinished business?
Mr. Acker, so today was interesting about the full-day kindergarten. It seems like there's some momentum on this topic. You know, it might be a good idea for the board to dedicate some time to discuss it. Like we used to have work sessions. I mean, this is a good one because as I remained silent, I noticed that there were some assumptions that are generally accepted that may not be true. So I think it would be good if we talked about it more, not just maybe sound bites to responses to comments.
You know, I think that's a good point, Mr. Robeson. We are, of course, working through the middle school project. We got that started. We still don't know what the state subsidy is, so we really don't know what our budget per se is. You know, if we've got some good tailwinds, we are certainly going to have to start looking at the other projects that were entailed in the facilities project, and I think certainly all-day kindergarten would be an important part of that discussion. So I think it's a question, first of all, of determining what capacity we have, and then taking a look as a board on the priorities. And I don't know whether that's a board retreat, or a separate meeting, but at some point in time in the very near future, we do have to start setting additional priorities for the work going forward. And it should definitely.
Excuse me, but I was thinking even before that, even before we talk about money, just the efficacy of full-day kindergarten, because there are a ton of studies out there. Some include p-values, some don't. And I brought up p-values on another topic a long time ago, which ended up being correct. So, and my feeling on this has changed over time because I looked at some of these, and I was surprised, actually, at the results of some of these studies. So I'm glad that people brought it up, and for every study, there are, you know, we didn't talk about the other studies. And I'm not saying which way or the other. I think we should just discuss it.
So I just add to that. So I completely agree with you. So I thought that you meant we should talk about it in the framework of prioritization, which we're absolutely.
As did I.
But you're talking about, forget about the money.
Forget about the money.
Like, is it something that really we should be investing in? Or is it not something we should be investing in, right? And I think that, because I've heard, since I've been on the board, I've heard people, and you've been an advocate of it from day one. I had it on my, you know, there's board members on here that sort of started doing Facebook pages when they run for election for the first time. I was one of them. And so it's on my list of things that I wanted to try to accomplish, right? But since then, I have heard, like you say, mixed opinions on how valuable it is. And I've heard at one end of the spectrum how incredibly valuable and necessary it is, and then I've heard other arguments that it's not as much.
Yeah, so for example, when you say valuable, and this is rhetorical, I'm not questioning you, is valuable 60 days,
Right,
a year,
right,
6 years, lifetime?
right.
Some of these studies tease that out. And I think some of the comments of full-day kindergarten is good.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would argue with that.
Right.
I think the question of how long and how good,
Right.
we may want to get into some of that detail before we even talk money.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea.
Certainly.
Not on all-day kindergarten, but one of the goals of our superintendent is the academics and reviewing the academics and giving the board a little view of the past years in the view of whether or not the administrators met their goals. Is there an opportunity for us to hear how last year went?
I think
And if
we
the
normally
goals-
have a review of that in November. of the-
Yes,
of the
yep.
state
That-
scores.
that-
I'm
I don't know
making
whether,
sure that-
yeah.
That's coming
My
in.
time here is over in November, and I would really like to get a little understanding of how we did last year, and what goals are you looking to work on for this year?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sure, we'll have that upcoming. Typically, what I do is I present it after the state makes it official, because everything is just kind of embargoed, and it's not yet official. I think we kind of know where we sit. However, there have been changes that move the needle. And part of the reason too is when the state puts it out there, then I'm able to go into a larger data set and see how we did as compared to others, as compared to similar or like organizations, where I can like do some comparisons. I mean, there's some school districts where I won't compare us to, and there's others that I know I'm going to go straight to. So when I don't have that information, I kind of feel like I'm leaving something out. I keep on, hitting that refresh button on the state website. But we'll get some. I can tell you, like, anecdotally that we were very strong in math. We made some pretty nice gains. In ELA was a story where in some grades it was up to even, and in some grades they went down. I'll have that like I do every year. It's just I don't know if it has anything to do with the state budget or not, but it's it's October 22nd. They haven't published it yet, so I'll get that.
Thank you.
No
Thank you.
problem. Okay.
Can I just add one more thing?
Sure.
Absolutely.
So I guess we've been talking a lot about prioritization of facilities tonight with, the great community comments about all-day kindergarten and other topics. The project that we approved tonight to at least start, which isn't visible, right? It's gonna be one of those things that we spend $1 million, and fortunately, it's hopefully gonna be funded mostly by grants, but it's still $1 million that we could put somewhere else that somebody would actually notice. You're not gonna see that stuff. But it's absolutely necessary. So I just wanna put it on everybody's, sort of calendar that we're getting close to a point where we should get back together and talk about prioritizing, like, there's lots of little stuff that happens every day in the district that Dr. Schaefer handles, right? Some of that could sort of dribble over to our discussions, but there are many big projects that are still necessary, not like wants, like necessary. And we don't have the money to do all of them fast. We'll hopefully have the money to do all of them eventually. I don't know how long eventually is. It's many, many years. But we, as a board, we do need to get together. I've been, and the facilities committee has been waiting because we've inundated administration for the last 18 months with projects. And this middle school project is a bear of a project. And oh, by the way, it's only 60% of the middle school, right? So we should be getting together in the near future, though, to talk about, I could rattle them off. What do we spend money on next in terms of the bigger projects? We've talked about a lot of stuff in the facilities reports, whether it's STEM at the high school, libraries and entrances at the elementary schools, all-day kindergarten, the other 40% of the middle school, right? HVACs, air handling. Like, there's a lot of projects that we unfortunately have, as a school district, deferred.
Well-
And they're right in our face as real needs right now, and we can't do all of them immediately. We just can't. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, we have it all, it's just a matter of talking about it.
Well, we have our retreat usually planned for January, February, and I think after the holiday would be a good time to.
If we start now, we might be able to get a date by May.
Yeah, right.
Who wants
So
to volunteer?
that's
I
the
know
theme.
Gretchen won't. She's out. She. Now,
Gretchen and Anthony are not
you
gonna
got the
volunteer for
award.
that, so-
She got it. She earned an Emmy last year. She doesn't. She's got a year off.
You know, I think you're absolutely right. It is a question of priorities, and I think every item relates back to academics. A STEM project, the high school, finishing out the middle school, because you're gonna have half a middle school that suddenly has a beautiful environment
we
to
have
learn
two
in,
grades that are still
and you're gonna
not.
have the other half of the middle school who's still in.
Yep.
And so, these are not easy questions, and these are, questions that we as a board have to deal with, and we're gonna make the best decisions we can for the students of the
I
district.
think we have to do, I think it's a good example that we're not doing a good enough job. As much as we've tried, because we just don't get a lot of attendance at board meetings, and when we have these special meetings, people don't show up, and it's hard. When I wasn't on the board, I didn't pay attention. I'm guilty of it. I have 3 kids. I have the job. My wife works, so we just didn't have time to pay attention. So I'm obviously paying attention. We're all paying attention, but I don't think that people are. I really don't. They don't know. Like, evidence the last few meetings, how many people are coming to rightfully ask for something that they passionately believe in. They don't understand, a lot of them, I think, how much we have talked about this. And as hard as it has been for us as a board to not do certain things now and to continue to defer certain things now, because as a board, we viewed the middle school as absolutely essential to do first. So I don't think that, we have to figure out how to get that better out to the community, I think.
I
so
agree.
that
I
people
mean,
understand
when you look
that
at the
we
middle
have
school
talked about
project,
this.
we're really looking at saying we need to improve the educational environment in the middle school. And one could argue, is that a higher priority than all-day K? It all depends on where you sit. Really,
Oh, yeah,
it
I mean,
does.
people, and you're not gonna get agreement on
And,
that.
and there's no agreement on it,
We
and
have to
all
make a
we can do as
decision.
a board is make the best decisions we can with the resources we have.
I think we've done like 4 years, we've come full circle, in my opinion.
Yes, we have.
I'm just gonna be blunt. So binary, it's a relatively binary decision. Do you build the other 40% of that middle school and get those kids out of the half circle that are still gonna be there for an indefinite period until we do it? 2 grades are still gonna be in that half circle. Or do you do all-day kindergarten? It's really hard to do both when you don't have the finances. So these are the difficult decisions that I think that, I'm not arguing for one or the other. I'm just saying that I think that we have to do a better job of letting people know that we are talking about this all the time.
I agree, absolutely, and and part of it relates to communication.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons we have such a concerted effort on communication is for precisely this reason, because we do need to get out in the community, and we need to communicate not only with the parents of the students, but the whole community, because we are spending their money, and they need to know how we're doing it. So I think this is all very good stuff.
Can I say one more to that point?
Yes.
I appreciate the advocacy because it does keep us honest, and it does keep us on track, and if you recall, a couple meetings prior, we were discussing the air conditioning in one of the buildings, so I do think that that we are going to hear from the community a lot about how we spend, the tax dollars and what we're prioritizing. And I think we're on the right track, and it's just everything all at once. So we have to make those decisions, and we do have to communicate better that, because, if we prioritize full day kindergarten, we might have a room full of people here, talking about school safety, which was another, bullet point on many of our election, pages. So, that middle school project really improves school safety too. So, I just wanted to add, the advocacy is important.
exactly right. And you know it's all connected.
Yes.
If we do all-day K, I guarantee 5 years later, those same parents will be back talking about why we didn't do something with middle school.
Right, middle school.
And, you know, they're not wrong.
Yeah, right.
Like, for example, the facilities report doesn't get better over the next 4 years, right? So,
Exactly right.
so,
In reality.
and I'll tell you, I disagree a little bit because I think it is easy to make the decisions on some of these things because of workshops that we had, Chris, that you led, where we really looked at the three categories of priorities, and when you look at it that way, is middle school safety after not only parents and rhetoric and anecdotal evidence, but a professional company comes in and says, you're doing awful. You got a 67, right? And and we don't know the benefits net of a certain initiative. It's actually pretty easy. And we made this decision, we did. Yeah.
I will, I have a 3/4 baked presentation for January the 7th, so it's a harbinger of things to come, where ICS is going to be here. I'm going to talk about some of this, but, and I wish the folks were still here. See you later, Dr. Tione. There is no sneaking out.
Busted.
She sent us a text explaining why she needs.
I don't read text during meetings. I know, it's horrible. Yeah, one person. But I do want to say, because I don't think that we can reiterate this enough. And this is the stance that the board has taken and really was the only one, as I talked to you about it, is that when we were in our planning stages, we determined, and it was pretty easy to identify this problem, is that we had to take a considerable amount of time into the future to start building up capital in order to pay for what we're doing right now. And part of that had to do with, say, the Act 1 index in 2006. It became very difficult post 2006 to invest in new programming because you had to limit tax increases, and certainly we understand that. And then 2018, we made a decision when some bonds were paid off, that we put that back into our programs, but that put us in a spot where we didn't have any capital surplus. So we said 3 years ago that we are going to be raising taxes in order to get that surplus to a point where we can afford our debt service. So, while we are in a very healthy position, we've also earmarked funds that aren't quite there yet to pay for that. So, I just can't say that enough. I mean, talk about when we're threading the needle, and we've had some good tailwinds, and we hope we get more tailwinds where it will be feasible for us to do more projects and invest in more of our programs. But I just wanted to put that out there. It's that was our grand strategy.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. I think what Rod had said about communication, I think sitting here for 20 years and just listening and having opportunities to hear community speak, these last 4 years, we really didn't have the community coming to meetings, and we used that as a kind of a compass of listening to the community, and we were packed. And I'm not sure if it was COVID, I'm not sure what has changed, but these last 4 years, it's been pretty quiet from our community. And tonight, I think one of you just said it's a good thing to get a pulse of what, and have us listen to what our community is asking for us. And they're not always in tune with everything because they're not coming to these meetings. But it is important for us to understand that they are the compass and help us to make the decisions that we have to make. And I think, give yourselves a pat on the back. You've done a really good job because they haven't been here. They really haven't been here, and it's been an adjustment for me because I used to use them as a compass, and I just want to compliment all of you. These decisions aren't easy to make. They're not, and they're difficult ones, and we worked really hard on every step of this path. As you're learning how to be a board director at the same time, because most of you have only been here for 3 or 4 years, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So I just want to comment on that. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there any other new business?
We're good.
Okay, that's.
I was just going
motion
to
adjourn.
say Dr. Tione and her team did a fantastic job with homecoming, but she ran out. But I'll say it anyway. Dr. Tione and her staff, it was amazing. It's not just a dance or a game. It is a whole week of like school pride and just working together, and they do a lot for our kids. So kudos.
Okay, we're adjourned.